Hello class, receiving students and teachers. Thank you, you may sit down. All right, receiving students and class. Receiving students, you did an exercise which your teacher prepared on how to measure angles, all right, different types of angles using protractors. All right, so you use two different types of protractors, a semi-protractor, which was marked from 0 to 180 degrees, and a circular protractor, which was marked from 0 to 360 degrees. Now we're going to just go through a reflex angle class. How do we measure a reflex angle? Now in today's recap, we're going to be using this type of protractor, okay? A semi-protractor, which is marked from 0 to 180 degrees. So I'm going to demonstrate to you on the board how to measure a reflex angle. Remember, you recognize this type of angle, okay? It's a reflex angle. The angle is marked from outside, okay, not from within, inside. Can you see, class, receiving students? You want to find the angle that is marked, and you want to find the measurement of this angle. Is that clear? So we're going to be using a semi-protractor. All right, first step, what do we do when we are measuring an angle? Receiving students? Class, what is the first step that you must do? Very important step. You just learned that, you learned the steps in your previous lesson, class. What do? Do you just place the protractor anyhow on the angle? No. You have to follow a step. Because you want to measure the angle accurately, you want to find the correct measurement. So what do? Receiving students, please tell your teacher. What is the first step? Melisha?
The semi-protractor in the middle of the angle. Center of the angle.
Okay, thank you, Melisha. Would like to add on to Melisha's comment or add some more? Ubao?
Put the protractor at the corner of the angle.
Okay, thank you. Now, if you put the protractor, what part of the protractor are you going to put at the corner of the angle? What part of the protractor are you going to put at the corner of the angle? Yes, he's correct, but which part? The front part, the top part, or the bottom part, on the side? Taylor?
Center.
Okay, thank you, Taylor. Always place the center. Remember, class, center of the protractor. Again, center. Don't forget the word center. Place the center of the protractor at the corner or the vertex. This, remember, this is the vertex or the corner of the angle. Here you have two arms of the angle, all right? And where these two arms meet, they form the vertex or the corner. So here we put the vertex right at the, we put the center of the protractor right at the vertex of the angle. Now remember, your 0 degrees, class, look up here. 0 degrees must match the horizontal line, this arm. all right, so that it will be straight. All right. Now remember, we are to find this angle outside, all right, from here all the way to here. Sorry, here. This is the arm. It stops. Okay. We're not going to look for the one inside. To find the angle inside, it's very easy. Class, can you see? If you want to find the angle here, which is like an acute angle, if it's an acute angle, it will be an acute angle. You'll say start from 0, 10, 20, 30, 40. So this angle in here will be 40 degrees. But we want to find the angle that is outside. So what we do here, class, is we start counting from here. We're going to count all the way around, but we're going to move our protractor. Okay, because we're not using a whole protractor, circular. We're using half, so we're going to have to move. So we start from here. All right, I'd like us to count. We'll start counting from 0. Okay, so let's count 0. Make sure you must take note of the counting. So we start from here first. So 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Okay, and then 110, 120, 130, 140. Okay? Now remember that, you just imagine that you drew an imaginary line across. So this is 140. Now we're going to move our protractor around. So this is 140, don't forget. So we turn it around. Okay, make sure your center is at the middle, is at the vertex. Okay, so what number was here again? 140, okay? So 140, remember, we're going to stop here. 140, 150, 160, sorry, 170, 180, 190, 200, 210, 220, 230, 240, 250, 260, 270, 280, 290, 300, 310, 320. 320 what? Degrees. Ooh. 320 degrees. Okay, let's say 320 degrees. That's the symbol or the symbol for degrees when you are measuring angles. All right. So, what was the angle? What was the measurement, the size of the angle inside here? How many degrees? 40 degrees. So 320 plus 40 is 360 degrees. So that will make one revolution. Can you see, class? All right. So we use a semi-protractor instead of a circular protractor to measure the reflex. Remember, get the angle that is outside. So what we did was we started from 0 and we counted around, the inner set numbers. Okay. So I'd like you receiving students, just take note of that in class. All right, I'd like you to look around the classroom. Just look around the classroom, and I want you to, receiving students, I'd like you to look around your classroom. I want you to locate any right angles that you can see in the classroom, just around here. I want you, or maybe where you are sitting, just look around and see. Look around and see if you can find any right angles. Receiving students, please. Any right angle. Can you identify any right angle for me, please? Show us. Maybe come up to the front or anywhere where you can find a right angle and just show or demonstrate or locate the right angle. Robert, the receiving students, you can also do that. Go to any location where you can find the right angle and just show the class. Or you have to come up and show.
The table.
Where? I want to see.
This side, edge of the table.
Okay, very good, Robert. The edge of the table forms a right angle. Anything else? Quickly. You can either go up to the front or go to wherever you can locate the right angle and indicate it. Okay, let's have Victoria.
Edge of the whiteboard.
Okay, show. I don't know where it is. Okay, edge of the whiteboard. So she. Maybe this one. This one. Okay, anything else? The last one. Or?
Edge of the exercise book.
Where? Okay, very good. Thank you all. Okay, good. Okay, if you look at the right angle, who can tell me how many degrees is a right angle? Receiving students, how many degrees is a right angle? Joe?
90 degrees.
Again, Joe?
90 degrees.
All right, Joe says 90 degrees. Do you agree with him? All right, let's see if your answer is correct, 90 degrees. Okay, let's just confirm. How will we confirm by? By measuring the size of this right angle. So here is a right angle, all right? So let's just confirm using this protractor, okay? So class, so your center, all right? And so are we correct? 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. So it's correct. A right angle is 90 degrees. So you must always, if you want to confirm the measurement of sizes of the angles, you must use a protractor to confirm. All right. So if I were to draw a line in the middle of a right angle, class, can you tell me what type of angles will I have? Drawing a line in the middle of this right angle. Receiving students. Okay, you already know that this is a right angle and it's measured in 90 degrees. Right, if I were to draw a line in the middle, what type of angles do I have here? Okay, Lewis.
Acute angle.
Okay, very good. He says acute angles. Is it correct? Okay, how many acute angles do I have? All right, I have 2 acute angles. So remember, what is the property of acute angles? They are less than 90 degrees. Okay, very good. Less than 90 degrees. Okay. Class, receiving students, what would be the total size of these two acute angles? Okay, I have two acute angles. They are less than 90 degrees. All right, what would be the total size of these two angles? Receiving students? If I add these two acute angles, remember, I formed them out from that right angle. I formed these two acute angles out from this right angle. Now, what would be the total? If I were to add these two acute angles, what would be the total size? Fred? Receiving students?
$140.
Okay, thank you. Good try. Fred says 140 degrees. Alison?
100 degrees.
Okay, Alison says 100 degrees. Good try. Remember that these two angles, all right, are formed out of this right angle. Okay? What would be the total? If I add these two angles together, what would be the size, the total? Receiving students? Okay. Madhu? Okay, Madhu?
90 degrees.
Very good. 90 degrees. Why? Because you see, a right angle is 90 degrees. So from these two angles will always add up to 90 degrees. See? All right. Let's see. If this angle, class, receiving students, if this angle was 50 degrees, what would be this angle? Somebody tell me. All right. If this was 50, what would be this angle? 40 degrees. Why do you say 40 degrees, class? Okay, let's have Victoria.
Forty plus 50 is equals to 90.
Okay, thank you, Victoria. Because when you add 50 plus 40, it gives you 90 degrees. Very good. Okay, so that would be 40 degrees. All right, very good. So that brings us to our topic, class. Today's lesson, receiving students, is on complementary angles. All right, complementary angles. Okay, let's look at complementary angles. Now remember, we're looking at the right angle, and out of the right angle, you are forming two types of angles, acute angles. And remember that these angles, they add up to 90 degrees. So complementary angles are two angles or pair of angles that make up a right angle. Okay, class? So 50 degrees and 40 degrees are complementary angles because they are the sum of a right angle, and the right angle is 90 degrees. So complementary angle of 50 degrees is 40 degrees. Okay? All right, let's move on. Okay? Because you know that the right angle is 90 degrees, so you can either subtract. 90 subtract or 90 minus 50 degrees is equal to 40 degrees. That's how we got 40 degrees. Okay? To be clear, Because you already know that the right angle is 90. So 90 minus 50 is 40. All right, your exercise class, I'd like you to do this one quickly. What is the complementary angle of A, 30 degrees, B, 70, and C, 15 degrees? I'll just give you 2 minutes to do this one quickly, this exercise. Okay, you are to find the complementary angle of A, 30 degrees, B, 70, and C, 15. Okay, just explaining further on this exercise. Remember that complementary angles, they add up to 90 degrees, so they make up a sum of a right angle. So if one angle is given, all right, what is the other angle? That will add up with this angle to give you a right angle, the sum of a right angle, 90 degrees. You understand? Remember that okay, exercise number 2. This is number 2. Calculate the size of this unknown angle. All right. What is this unknown angle? You have 45 degrees. What will be this angle? Okay, receiving students. If this is 45 degrees, if this angle is 45 degrees, what will be this angle? What's 15 plus 14? Is 15 plus 14 90? Check again. Sorry? No. Which is the complementary angle of 30 degrees? What angle plus this angle will give you the sum of a right angle, 90 degrees? 30 plus what will give you 90? See, what is the complementary angle? Those two angles that make up a sum of a right angle are complementary. Okay, when you add them together, they give you 90. Okay, if you finish this one, then I'll move on to the last one. Sorry? No. Which is the complementary angle of 30? The last one is, if this angle is 30 degrees, then what would be this angle? All right? If this angle is 30 degrees, what would be this angle? Remember, they are complementary angles. You add them together, they give you 90 degrees. They give you the sum of a right angle. Okay, receiving students, ask your teachers if you need help. Yes, if you, because they are complementary, okay, because when you add them together, they give you 90 degrees, not more than 90, not less, 90 degrees. So if one is 40, then what would be the other complementary angle? 40 plus what number will give you 90 degrees? So if 40 was given, you can subtract that. Because you already know that 90 is the sum of a right angle, so you can subtract 90 minus 40, and then you can get your answer. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, very good. That's correct. Okay. Yes. Okay, good. Okay, we're going to correct our exercise now. So let's go through the answers for number 1, A, B, and C. Okay, so I want you to confirm with your answers on the board. All right? First one, the complementary angle of 30 degrees is 60 degrees. But 60 plus 30 gives you 90. Okay, B is 20 degrees. Complementary angle of 70 degrees is 20 degrees. Receiving students, please cross-check with your answer. And C, complementary angle of 15 degrees is 75. 75 plus 15 is 90. Just cross-check again. Try adding and see whether you get 90 or 15 plus 75. Okay. Exercise number 2. Let's correct number 2. What's the unknown angle for B? 45 degrees. 90 subtract 45 will give you 45 degrees. Okay, receiving students? That's for the unknown angle A. Okay, and the last one, B. Your unknown angle will be 60 degrees. 90 minus 30 is 60 degrees. So 60 plus 30 is 90. Okay, receiving students, so I hope you got that correct. Please, if you didn't, then you make your corrections, okay? Remember that complementary angles are two angles or two acute angles, all right, that make up the sum of a right angle or that add up to 90 degrees, all right? So when you want to find complementary angles, you must make sure that they add up to, these two angles add up to 90 degrees. Okay? right. Are there any questions, class? Okay. So our key phrase for today's lesson is complementary angles. All right. In our next lesson, class, we're going to be looking at supplementary angles, receiving students and teachers. So I'd like you to go home. And for your homework, I'd like you to define supplementary, okay, or supplementary angles. Okay, receiving students, that's for your homework. Go home and define the word supplementary angles. And what do you know about supplementary angles? Receiving teachers, you're required to bring the same materials with what you brought today's lesson. Pencils, A4 papers, rulers, protractors. With that, thank you very much, class, and receiving students for your participation in today's lesson.